We are joined now by Pete Nakos of On3. Pete is the transfer portal guru here at On3, and it has been a very busy weekend for the portal and for Pete. How are we doing?
It's been fun. It's been good. I'm doing well. How are you doing, Andy?
Doing good. So you woke us all up Monday morning, the day the portal opened for most of the population, with the news that Kyle McCord was entering the transfer portal. You wrote over the weekend that he was making a visit, and it is to another Big Ten school.
Yeah. Yep. He is going to be at Nebraska this week. And one of his favorite targets, Julian Fleming, he's going to join him.
Wow. Very interesting. So now, are they a package deal? Do we know that? Or is that just they are buds and they might take some trips together?
I have heard nothing yet that makes it suggest they're a package deal. But I think the thought, right, of Kyle being able to link up with one of those top targets at Ohio State, I would imagine that only sweetens the pot for both of them. And I mean, not a shot at the Nebraska wide receiver room, but Julian Fleming, right, 5-star recruit, former number 1 wide receiver in the 2020 class. I mean, when you have Marvin Harrison and Emeka Egbuka in that room, Julian could have been lost in moments sometimes, but I'm sure if he landed at Nebraska, I think he could really be a breakout star that we could see in the Big Ten.
Well, Jamison Williams will tell you that if you leave a crowded Ohio State receiver room, good things can still happen for you. So that is
very much.
But I was going to take a shot at the Nebraska receiver room, and thankfully you kind of did it for me. But I wasn't really going to take a shot. They had so many injuries last year. The way they ended the season, they just didn't have a lot of downfield options. So I would say as many people as they can get who can catch the ball down the field, who can make plays, would be a big deal for them. But let's talk about McCord a little bit. Who has he been looking at, and when did Nebraska enter the picture?
You know, the offensive coordinator in Nebraska, Marcus Satterfield, flew to Columbus last week for a quick meeting, and it's worth throwing out there that Nebraska has by far been the most aggressive school when it comes to trying to find a quarterback on this market. I think they've talked to 5 now. But that meeting went really well. And then in terms of where else McCord's looked, I've heard some rumblings about Mississippi State. There was a thought that Syracuse could get in the mix, but I mean, the last 48, 72 hours, it's been all Nebraska.
Let's hear from Matt Rhule from a few weeks ago.
Do you feel like you have to address the quarterback situation in the portal by you going into the portal?
I think that the portal for me is I either want to, if we go into the portal, I either want to get someone with at any position, someone with multiple years, I think is on caliber with the guys that we have, or someone who's instant impact upgrade, like someone who can make a difference. Make no mistake that a good quarterback in the portal costs $1 million to $1.5 million to $2 million right now. So just on the same page, right? So let's make sure we all understand what's happening.
So Matt Rhule had been doing his homework before he said that, is what you're saying.
Spot on. Can I say one thing too? That's the funniest thing about that clip is he probably thought I don't know, Blake Shapen or someone like that was going to be his best target, but all of a sudden he's going to host Kyle McCord, who started against Michigan, 3 weeks ago? Kyle McCord was not on Matt Rhule's radar when he said that.
Well, could he have been thinking, because the Cam Ward smoke signals were out there, and
right.
I would think that's where that market setting number was coming from, because we didn't know. Well, Gabriel, the word was kind of out at that point too, that last week of the season, but. Yeah, it is very interesting how that works. So is Kyle McCord that top of the market type quarterback?
I can just tell you from my conversations I've had that Nebraska is going to be able to deliver the type of financial package that Kyle McCord believes he's worth, and probably is worth. And the 1898 initiative, the main collective at Nebraska, I mean, I don't want to say a storied history, but it's been well track that Nebraska is probably in the upper echelon of the Power 5 when it comes to NIL collectives.
Yeah, your history can't be that storied when the thing you do only has existed for 2.5 years. But
it can't be.
But I will say, I've always thought Nebraska is Nebraska and Tennessee are the two places where if somebody were to come as a transfer and absolutely blow up, they become an instant superstar, and the NIL stuff not just the preset, here's the deal we're going to make with you, but all the actual NIL stuff comes flooding in where you get endorsements and that sort of thing. So I do think that's one of those places where if you can be the one who lifts them out,
Right.
you're going to be very well rewarded for it.
And then if you heard like Matt Rhule's comment again, right? He said instant impact. Kyle McCord will be an instant impact at Nebraska, and an instant impact, according to Matt Rhule, is somewhere, it sounds like, between 1 to 1.5 million. That's how I interpreted it.
Well, congratulations to Kyle McCord, because that sounds pretty good, considering that there was not going to be a guarantee. And it's interesting because Matt was also talking about a guy who has multiple years. Kyle McCord doesn't. He was a junior this past year, no COVID year for him. So he is he's done after this year, assuming he plays, which we assume he will. So very fascinating just road, because he could wind up again in the Big Ten and playing against a lot of teams that he's familiar with. And who knows, maybe Julian Fleming tags along as well. But thank you so much for watching. Just a reminder, subscribe to this channel right here so you never miss an episode of Andy Staples on 3. And oh, by the way, watch all the other great videos on the On3 Sports YouTube channel.